Hi, what's good in your life? Tonight I wanted to make a video and talk about just some of the topics that have been coming up in conversations with my students. If you don't know, I work at a university, and so I get to work with college students throughout the academic year, and I have a team of students that I'm responsible for supervising, and so every week I have to do one-on-ones with them. And I kind of have a structure that I follow and do the same thing and cover all the pieces that I need to cover, but then I really have a focus on helping them develop and really making sure that they're getting out of the job what they need to get out of the job in terms of developing their skills and helping them figure out what they're learning on the job and how it relates to helping them in their further career path and all of that. So I ask them kind of a reflective question every week, and so the last 2 weeks the questions have been how do they who do they see as being in their support network? So when they're feeling down, when they're feeling sad, when they're stressed out or something has happened in their life that they just need some extra love or some support, you know, their cheerleaders, who is that they can count on? And so that was one question, who is in their support network? And then the other question has been, what is balance? So what's their definition of balance, and what does balance look like in their life? And so these have actually been pretty good questions that they've kind of been challenged with, and then I've also been thinking about reflecting on the questions for myself. So, you know, it's interesting because I'm working with them through all of their issues. And so I am full-time working professional, but I also am a mother, and so I have my 2 young girls, and they are 2 and 4, and I'm married, so I have a husband. So it's challenging being a full-time professional and then also trying to be a good mother and feeling like I'm able to cater to their needs and cater to my relationship with my husband and figuring all that out. So thinking about the first question of who do I consider in my support network, it's interesting because I think as I've gotten older, my support network has definitely shifted and changed. And like when I think back to when I was in an undergrad situation and going through college, you know, it was really mostly my friends. My family, kind of, but it really was mostly my friends, and I had friends kind of in this arena for this issue and friends over here in that arena for that issue, and I kind of compartmentalized my friends, and I knew who I could go and talk to depending on what the issue was, and kind of who would be able to tell me what I needed to hear or maybe tell me what I didn't want to hear. And just thinking about how my support network has shifted through the years. And so when I was younger in my 20s, it was a lot of friends, it was a lot of mentors and advisors and people in my university life. And then it was whoever I was in a relationship with, you know, they provided some sort of support, and my family did provide some support as well. And now I've been in my marriage with my husband for about almost 5.5 years, and we've been together for about 6.5 years. And so he really is my support and kind of who I go to for when I just want to be silly, when I need a pick-me-up, when I'm mad, when I'm angry, stressed out. On the downside of that, when I'm stressed out, he also gets the brunt of that stress as well. Not that I am intentional about that, but that's just where it comes out. And then also, I've moved around a lot, so I don't quite have the same friend base that I used to have. So my friend support has definitely shifted and changed, but I feel like the friends that I do have that I talk to, it's kind of that deeper connection, I guess, because you can go a while without talking and then you're able to pick up and be there for one another. And then my family, I have been estranged from my family for various issues that can be covered in another video. But I've kind of been apart from them for a good 5 years, I'd say. So they're not really, well, they're not a source of support at all. Possibly opposite of support, a point of stress and strife at times. So really my support network is rather small at this point. Sometimes I'm okay with that because I feel like I don't have the time and bandwidth to be able to dedicate to others, because I have my kids and my husband, and outside of work, that's where my time is going. But sometimes it's also hard not having that large support network that I had when I was a student, and just kind of coming to terms with where I'm at in life and what that means and what the transitions that happen in life. And you know, I'm in my, I guess, early 30s, slowly starting to transition to those mid, but still in my early 30s. And it's just interesting how life changes as you go through the big life transitions of being in a committed relationship, whether that's marriage or just a long-term commitment that you make, making big moves, graduating, going to a different school, taking different jobs, figuring out all of those different transitions in your life and how your support network shifts. So I'm curious to know out there, who do you consider to be in your support network? Who are your go-tos that you know will always be able to give you that hug or give you that pep talk that you need? Because it is important to be able to find support and to have those people around you and surround yourself with those people. And maybe this is a time for you to evaluate that and figure out, do you need to add some support to that? Or is your network too big and it's not really a good, solid support network? So I think there's times for evaluation where it's important to figure out who you might need to exclude from that circle and who's not really being beneficial to you. And I think that's something that in my 20s I wasn't able to see, and as I got older I was able to shed light on that and realize, okay, these aren't the best relationships for me to have, so I don't need them anymore. So yeah, that's kind of my spiel on support networks. And then the other question that I've posed to my students recently was, what is balance? How does balance look in their lives, and how do they define it? And I thought it was interesting because some people were very oriented towards balances like time management and that kind of thing. But then I also had some students answer it in the sense that balance is in your mind and finding that like inner peace with yourself and with your life and your decisions. And I thought that was fascinating because I probably was thinking more along the lines of time management as well, and like, okay, you know you have to have time for this and have to have time for that, and so then you just kind of make it all work. But some of their responses really helped me think about how I see balance or how I have balance play out in my life. And I would say right now I don't have a good balance. I think it's just the circumstances of my life situation right now with having such a young family, you know, having a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. And we just moved. I mean, it's been a little over a year, almost a year and a half, but still it's been a big transition. So having that, and then trying to keep my marriage strong and making sure that we're there for one another as well, and then being a full-time professional. And I have a lot of responsibilities in my job, and I really enjoy my job and enjoy the work that I get to do. And so when I'm at work, like I'm typically in work mode and full on and focused and ready to do a good job with the projects that I have and the people that I need to meet with and the students that I am responsible for. But sometimes it's hard because there are personal issues that come with you, and as much as we try to say, like, leave your personal issues at the door before you step in, it's hard because we're all human, right? So sometimes those, excuse me, sometimes those issues bleed into our professional lives from our personal lives, and it makes it hard to focus. But also what goes on at work I also bring home, and so then that's kind of hard. I am very fortunate that the position that I have and the work that I do, I'm able to pretty much leave my job at work, and when I'm home, I'm able to be home. But it's still hard to find that balance because I don't have a good time management balance in terms of being able to have my professional life, have my family life, and then make time for myself for the things that I enjoy and the things that bring me happiness and help kind of calm my stress. So time management wise, I don't feel like I have a good balance. And then kind of looking at that inner peace standpoint, I feel like I may have a better balance related to that, but still I think I'm kind of in a transition mode and still trying to figure that out and work that out. And, you know, I am finally at a point where I feel really solid in my job after a year of kind of going through an academic cycle and working with programs and working with students and figuring out just a new system. I feel very confident in that and the work that I'm doing. So I have balance there at least. And then I think it's really just kind of dealing with the mommy guilt of feeling like I should be at home with my kids and I'm missing the moments that they're having these aha moments, or I'm missing the time of playing game after game after game of Candyland. And so I try to really use my time on the weekends to have fun with them and to do things with them, but I am human. I get stressed out. It's been an interesting transition because when I was home with them primarily, I could handle their shenanigans and not really get super stressed out because I was just used to it. Part of it was just knowing how to be able to tune certain things out too and not let it always get to me. But since I've been outside, working outside of the home and coming home, and sometimes their shenanigans is a little bit stressful. And I don't feel like I'm a bad mom by saying that or anything like that, but so if you are a working mom, like, it's a struggle. It's hard. It's really hard to balance that and to figure how all of that plays out in a time management piece, but also how you make room in your head for that and how you make room in your heart for that and how you're able to kind of come to terms with that. And, you know, it's the situation. I don't necessarily want to give up my career and give up my job just to stay home with them, because I also think it's important for me to show them that I can be a good mother to them and I can still have a job that I enjoy and find rewarding and help to be a role model for them, that a woman doesn't have to be just a wife and a mother, that a woman can be a mother and a successful career person. And you know, I'm not in like a huge high profile career by any means. I'm in education, but education is important. And, you know, they're able to come see me at work and pick me up and meet my students and hang out and stuff like that. So they're able to see some of the work that I do and see me at home. And so it's kind of integrated, and I'm able to kind of integrate that where it makes sense. So it's a good fit in that sometimes, but there's still that kind of inner battle for me of, I really enjoy my job and I don't want to give that up to be with them, but I also would love to be with them and not have to work outside the home. So it's that inner battle that on certain days I'm better at dealing with than others. But, you know, that's why we get vacation days. That's why the weekends are here. I treasure my 3-day weekends, and, you know, I really appreciate the support that my husband gives me and gives to the girls, and knowing that he keeps them safe and secure and trying to manage his own business. He keeps them entertained, and I know that he has everything under control, in addition to trying to figure out all of his personal business and getting his business started and everything. So it's a period of transition for us. I think it has been for a while. I think we're starting to kind of get into the groove of things and what our life is like. living in a larger city, in a more diverse city with lots of things to do, you kind of also feel that pull of wanting to go out and do things, but sometimes being at home and taking care of the home is more important, and just being able to spend that quiet time as a family instead of always being on the go and out and about. Because I also know as they get older, it's going to get busier. They're going to be involved in more things. They're going to have more friends who want them to do things. And so life just gets more chaotic from here, I feel like. So I try to appreciate the quiet times, appreciate the times of a kid in my lap and a kid under my arm reading a book that we got from the library, or our little walk to our pea patch to check on our family garden. It's all of those moments that really help bring balance to me, I guess. And also finally living in a place where I have access to water and the beaches, and being able to hear the water and see the sights and hear all of that. That really helps to restore me and bring balance to me. And so I guess through making this and kind of talking through all of this, I realized that there are pieces that I know how to bring balance to myself. It's just a matter of working all of that out. So I've rambled on for long enough for tonight, but I would like to challenge you to think about who is in your support network, who are your go-tos in life, and how do you find balance in your life? What does that look like? And how do you personally define that? So think about that, and I'll see you next time. Just remember that there's always good in your life.